Good evening, everyone. I'm Rakhi Gautam from greytHR, the moderator for the session today. Thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us for the fifth episode of the PSP Parichay webinar series. Before we dive into the topic, I would like to quickly take you all through the agenda. So the session is divided into two parts. The first part will be the discussion by our expert on the topic today, which will then followed by a special presentation on how you can file IT declaration through greytHR, and which will then be followed by an audience Q&A. So, this session is also being currently recorded. So if you happen to miss out on anything, do not worry at all. We have got you covered. We will share the recording with you once it is done. And also, this recording will be available on our greytHR official YouTube channel under the playlist PSP Parichay. So you can always go there and watch it. Now, I think without any further delay, let's start the session. As you know, the topic for today is streamlining IT declaration for payroll service providers. Now, in this dynamic session today, we will delve into the critical importance of efficient IT declaration processes for both providers and clients and discover automation tools and technologies designed to simplify this task, ensuring accuracy and efficiency. We will also learn about the vital role of comprehensive support and guidance throughout the IT declaration process. Now, of course, I talked about a lot of things, right? So to decode all of that and to share his insights today, joining us is Abhishek Mishra, Director, Protiviti India member firm. Now, let me quickly take you all through his profile. Abhishek, a director at Protiviti India member firm since 2023, brings over 15 years of rich expertise in multi-country payroll and HR operations across APEC and EMEA. Proficient in various payroll technologies, he excels in technical solution designing, client presentations, and product demonstrations. Specializing in payroll and HCM Specializing in payroll and HCM product implementation and project management, Abhishek collaborates with industry leaders like Workday, Accenture, and KPMG. Prior roles include stints at Aon, Ceridian, and Grant Thornton, focusing on establishing payroll and HR service practices and driving digital transformation. His efforts emphasize transitioning tools and services for complex customer requirements. Once again, I welcome you, Abhishek, and thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Raki, for that lovely introduction. Yeah, let me quickly share my screen if that's okay with everyone.
Yes, sure. Let's start with the presentation. I'm sure there are a lot of insights that you're going to share with us, and our audience is eagerly waiting for that. So, yes, over to you.
Thank you so much. Let's give me 1 second, please. Let me quickly do the sharing my screen.
Sure.
Uh, yeah. Let me know once that's visible for everyone.
Yes, it is.
Well, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on the session of improving the IT declaration process in payroll management. As Rakhi mentioned, my name is Abhishek Mishra, working as a director with Protiviti India member firm and heading the HR and payroll outsourcing division over here. Today, we will explore how the streamlining IT declaration process can not only enhance operational efficiencies, but also ensures rigorous compliance with laws benefiting both the service providers and the clients. On that note, let's get started. Well, this is the agenda for today. We're going to cover these topics: understanding the importance of streamlined IT declaration, exploring automation tools and technologies, the need for customization in IT solutions, compliance with current tax laws and regulations, comprehensive support and guidance for clients. Last but not the least, this is something which I have added as a specific topic, and I would like to talk a bit more about it, which is deep dive into data analysis, tax saving strategies, and educational initiatives for better tax planning and compliances. On that note, let me deep dive into different slides and let's get started. The first and foremost, the importance of streamlined IT declaration, right? Streamlined IT declaration refers to a simplification and optimization of the processes employees use to declare their investments and exemptions for tax purposes, right? The impact, this can be impactful. A streamlined process reduces complexity, lowers the chance of errors, and speeds up the overall payroll processing time. Now, folks, this is not only helping the service providers, but end of the day, it's also helping our clients in many many ways. And let's talk about it. Benefits for the payroll service providers. Well, first and foremost, the efficiency. Reduce manual data entries and administrative tasks through an automated, leading to increased operational efficiencies, right? Then let's talk about accuracies. Minimizing errors in tax calculations and filings, enhancing the accuracy for payroll services. See, as a payroll provider, this is something which we have to do in the systems, right? We have to do everything with efficiency and with accuracy, and that's what is should be the driving factors for us. Moving forward, let's talk about the benefits, what it holds for the clients. Well, ensuring adherence of laws and regulations, reducing the risk for non-compliances. What we have seen, and in the last years, we have spent 15 years in this very let's say the HR space. What I've realized is there have been so many instances where, because of the lack of using the processes, or streamlining our declaration processes and other things, there have been instances where the compliances were not taken care of properly, and there have been instances where the penalties were implied on the clients because of the concerns or challenges in the overall way in which things have been handled. So we have to make sure that we are giving a quality service. We are making the things efficient with accuracy, without any errors to the clients, right? Making them compliant, and also, but not the only one, which is employee satisfaction. We have to take care of satisfaction of the employees, right? Improving employee satisfaction through timely and accurate processing of payroll and tax deductions. We have to do deductions in a manner that it is not impacting the employees. They feel satisfied with the way things are going. It's not only about the payroll service provider, it's also about the company they're working with, because end of the day, the benefit is going to pass to the from to the client, and then that helps us to give a better service. So we have to work in sync and harmony to help the employees and help the clients to do better. Let's move forward. Well, the next is leveraging automation in declaration. Now, how simple the topic seems, it is very, I should say, it's very complex in itself. Let's talk about it. Automation in payroll involves the use of softwares and technologies to perform payroll tasks with minimal human intervention. This not only speeds up processes, but also enhances accuracy and compliances. Okay. I'll talk about certain key automation tools. See, softwares that automatically calculates the tax based on the latest regulations and declarations. And I'll take a second to say about greytHR, because we have been using that. It has proved us to be a very valuable tool, which is helping us in achieving this very I should say point. I'll move to the next one, which is your AI and machine learning. So within Protiviti, for the clients, what we are doing now is we are implementing the AIs and machine learning technologies. What I mean by that is we are making our tools, pardon me, we are making our tools understand the way the declarations are done by the employees, respective employees, how we can help them to achieve a better result. For example, the analysis of the data for the past year. For example, let's say they have done some declarations and they submitted some proofs. So they gauge the data and accordingly give us the best fit for the current year. So there are multiple ways in which we can have those, we can use AI and machine learning to our advantage. We are in an era where the, I should say, the AI and machine learning is with us. Why not utilize it for our own benefit? So this is something which I will encourage every one of you to do that. Next is integration with tools. Of course, the tools what we are using right now, or with tools which we want to use, should have everything in it. However, integration always helps. Giving example, what we have done is that let's say there is a tax calculator on the portal. employees are doing the investment declarations and they are looking at the taxes, business tax calculator. What we have also done is we have given a link to the employees. They can go on the government platform and they can match that the taxes, what the our platform is showing and what the government platform is showing, is on the same lines. Now, what does is it gives the confidence to the employees that this is something what the tool is showing is absolutely as per the expectations and is correct, and accordingly they can trust us and they can move ahead. What we want to do is we want to give the employees or enable the employees so they can take an informed decision. The next thing which I would like to talk about is technological innovations. So there are multiple tools available in the market for a lot of let's say enabling tools which help us to do a lot of tasks. Within Protiviti, what we are doing is we are using Power BI, and this is helping us a lot to perform a lot of analysis, which in end of the day is helping the clients to be getting more and more informed about a lot of other factors as well. For example, I just spoke about the past declarations and past submissions. We also have to consider that this is not only the lasting factor. We also have to consider in case the employee gets an increment in the current year, how much tax benefit or how much tax they are going to bear for the current year, right? So system takes that into consideration and prepares a plan and tells the client that in case there is an increment basis, and also basis the strength, what how you're increasing year on year, this much tax will be there for the whole year, what you have to like submit. So this gives the employee an added advantage, the value add what we are trying to give to our clients, right? I'll go and beyond that. What I'd like to say is the security of the platforms. It is of utmost importance. Earlier, the on-prem solution is something which we used to like, and we used to say that this is something which we should take into consideration. However, the trend has changed. Now cloud platforms are something which we should be considering because of numerous reasons. Well, the storage, the processing power, the data privacy, a lot of other factors which come into play. We have to consider all those aspects and then decide on the tools and the technology what we're going to use for our clients. I'll quickly move to the next one: customization and declarations. Well, this is a very interesting topic. See, customization allows the payroll service providers to adapt to the IT declaration tools for the specific needs for different clients, right? Accommodating various business sizes, industries, and regulation environments. What I mean by that is, see, every client is different. The uniqueness of the client is every client is unique in its own self. Some clients are let's say in manufacturing, some are IT IES clients, and even that in them also there are different salary brackets of different people. So we have to look at from that perspective and then design solutions for our clients. What I mean by that is, uh, let's take an example. Donation. Let's take example as donation. Donation is something which ideally we should not be considering in our declarations. So what we do is we should have a placeholder that we can disable those things which are not required by our client. However, we have some clients who say that no, we need those things to be enabled. But then there has to be some parameters which we should tell the clients that they should consider when taking a donation as a declaration or the declaration of for the investments. So we have to be very much sure that what we are trying to tell to the client, basically the specific needs and basically the specific industry they are into, and accordingly provide a tailor-made solution. Then comes your features for the customizable solution. All the tools and services what you are offering to the client should be modular in nature. When I say modular in nature means that can be tweaked based on the requirements for the client. Obviously, we have to consider the statutory nature, statutory compliances. However, over and above the client needs any specific thing, we should be considering those and giving the data or giving the I should say the modules in a manner that it makes the life of the clients easy rather than making it more complex for them. The next is adaptive reporting. I just spoke about that in the previous slide where I talked about the analysis or using the Power BI and other tools. This comes very handy. The clients need a lot of data, not only for their own consumption, but for the audits and for other, let's say, for showing it to business as well. We have to enable the clients or the spokes to have that kind of confidence on us that whatsoever data they need, we can help them with all those aspects, right? Last but not the least, in this very section, I would like to cover about the language support. Now, in India, India is very vast. We have a lot of languages. Uh, However, we how much we can localize, we should do that. Yes, of course, there are scenarios where the tools will not be able to help you out in those aspects, but I'm talking about those people who are not going to use the tool. We encourage everyone to use the tool. However, what happens is, let's say there's a factory, and there are people who are let's say factory workers, and they're not able to use the product on the platform. What we do is we tell them that they have to submit the declaration maybe over a sheet of paper with all the values, let's say all the sections filled, so that they can just fill the values and they can submit to us. However, if I give it them in English, they might not be able to understand. So what we do is we localize the language according to their preferences. For example, in the northern part of India, we can also have a multilingual kind of platform where we have Hindi as also incorporated. And similar way for major languages, we can do that, and that's what we have done. Now, how technology we are leveraging technology is we are using the OCR method where the values are getting read from those sheets and are getting pasted into the system. So it helps us, although the employees are filling those information, we have to validate once the data gets into system through the OCR mechanism, but the manual inputs are not there. Everything is getting through automated mechanism, and that's what I always emphasize on. We should always look into this from that perspective. The next is client-centric approach. Obviously, we just spoke about it, that the design interface should be very intuitive in nature, should be easy for the clients to understand. However, how much tech savvy you make it, if it's not easy and easy for the employees to understand, it will not fly. So you have to make the tools simplified in nature and easy to understand for the employees. Last but not the least, the feedback. Once you are done with the declarations or any sort of that activity, you should always take a feedback from the employees and from the clients. The reason for that is until unless you take a feedback and you have the appetite to take a feedback, you cannot improve. So that's something which we have incorporated in our culture, in our processes, and this is what is helping us to move ahead and be there with the for the clients. I'll quickly move to the next one. Now, this is a question which I have for you. What should the companies primarily consider when choosing IT declaration solution? Color of the user interface, popularity of the software, specific needs and scalability, age of the technology.
Sure. So what I'll quickly do, I'll also launch this poll, and it is live now. We have a total of 81 participants here today. Let's try to engage with this. Just if you don't know the correct answer, just participate, see what you think is the right answer, and just click on that. And this will help us understand your perspective as well. And of course, to make this session more interactive, we don't want it to be a long speech sort of session. We want you to interact with us. So you can choose the answer here. And in the meantime, I saw some of you raising, your hands as well. If you have any questions, you can start putting them now. It might be that the question that you have would be answered in the very next slide that Abhishek, takes us through, or we can separately take us towards the end of the session as well. So if you have any questions, you can just start putting it in this Q&A option, which is there on Zoom, and we'll take them up. So we already have some 55% participation. The rest of you who haven't participated, please participate, choose the answer, and Abhishek will be the genie here who will tell us which is the right one. So let's do that. I'll just have it for next 30 seconds as well, and then we'll end the poll. Okay, I think we have the quorum. Let me end the poll and share the result with all of you. So this is what we have. Yeah, over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you so much, Rakhi. And I think the results are speaking for itself. Yes, of course, the specific needs and scalability. We just talked about it. We have to adopt to and adapt according to the client requirements, and not just take anything which is fancy in nature without giving us the relevant what do you say, the relevant advice or relevant way in which a tool is working. So yeah, thank you so much. Let's quickly move forward.
Sure. Yes, I agree. One model can't fit all. Something that might
Absolutely.
be working for me, which is popular, but might not work for you. So we
True.
have to be, very cautious when we are selecting these softwares and ensure that whatever objectives and requirements that we have, it matches with those. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much. And thank you everybody for, interacting with this poll. Over to you, Abhishek, for the next slide.
Thank you. I'll quickly move to the next one then. Okay, compliance with tax laws and regulations. Very, very, very important. It goes without saying. So, significance of compliance. Strict compliance with laws is crucial for maintaining integrity and avoidance of any penalties. I've spoken about it in the previous slide as well. I'm just covering that over here again. Proper adherence protects the companies and its employees from consequences and maintaining the company's reputation. See, we are not only working for the client, we're also working for the employees of the clients. We have to make sure that everything is in harmony, everything is working as they should, and accordingly, we have a proper environment. Then comes your regulatory framework. Discuss the key Indian tax regulations that impacts payroll, such as the income tax, provident fund, and other things. So we have to inform the employees, inform the clients about the changes, what is happening in the environment, and how they can be compliant. So it's not only that something which is already available, and then you are telling your client that this is something which is got implemented very recently. We have to do it. We have to be proactive in our approach and inform the clients well in advance. The third point, which is compliance tools and strategies. Well, utilizing software that receives regular updates to stay in line with the latest tax codes and regulations. I just spoke about that, and I'll just tell you, when we go to Great HR for these kind of topics, we are always getting an answer that we already know about it, and this is something which we are already in process of implementing. So before the things actually kick in, we are ready with everything. So thank you so much, Great HR, for doing that. Well, the next point which I'd like to talk about is audit trails. Now, this is very important. What happens is every client, when we are doing implementing the investment declaration, we open the portal. People within that span of dates might be submitting the proofs, the declarations twice or thrice, and they might have changed the declaration without knowing. For example, they had opted for ATD earlier, which is medical, and then and because of any reason, they just deleted it before submitting. What will happen is they'll come back to you saying that I have submitted those values, but they were not considered. Audit trails will help you in being compliant. Not only that, when the client have their own audits, the auditor sitting on their head, they need those information. You can help them, your client, by giving those informations to your clients, that this is something what they have done and this is the data which presents that kind of information. The next is challenging and maintaining compliances. Obviously, addressing the compliance and the frequent changes in tax laws makes the compliance challenging. We should always consider our clients way in a different manner. So, for example, there's an MNC who's coming to India. They don't know about anything about Indian nuances, right? Indian laws. We have to be patient enough with them. We have to explain them rather just telling that this is something what you have to do without even explaining. So we have to be patient with them. We have to explain to them this is how the things are to be done within Indian environment, and because of these reasons. And accordingly, the client that will have the trust on you, and then the employees will also have the trust on you. So I'll quickly move forward. I have another question now for you. I know I'm asking a lot of questions, plus bear with me. I think it really helps me and it really motivates me. So, how frequently should IT declaration processes be updated to maintain compliances? Once a decade, every few years, as tax law changes, never.
Okay, so everybody, let's get into it. Please share your views here. Choose the answer that you feel is the correct one. And of course, Abhishek will tell us which one is that. Okay, over almost 50% of you have already participated. The rest of you, please participate and interact with this poll. It will also help you understand things in a better way, because it's one thing to listen and see and try to understand, and the other thing is actually applying it, or actually thinking on those lines, thinking of those questions. Okay, when we are talking about payroll, how it's done, if there are too many factors that come in mind, right? So when you interact with these kind of polls, it will also help you streamline your thoughts and just come up with more solutions that is beneficial for you. So okay, almost 70% of you have participated. I'm going to have this poll for another 30 seconds. Let's try to answer who has not. Of course, this is not a right or wrong question, and we're not going to pinpoint all of you, whoever gives the wrong answer. But yes, please do participate. Okay, I think we have the quorum with us. Let me quickly end this poll and share the results with all of you.
Well, thank you so much. And I think most of you have given the right answer. As the tax law changes, a virtual chocolate to all of you who have given the answer. Whether it's right or
Okay,
wrong, but yeah, thank you. Let's quickly move
great.
forward.
Sure.
Okay. Now, folks, we just talked about this, and I've just mentioned it in like as I was talking about some other things, analyzing previous investments for optimal tax planning. This is very important, and this really helped us to give that additional things, or go extra mile for the clients, and deliver better services. Conducting a thorough analysis of the previous year's investments declarations to provide tailored advice on the best tax regime for each employee for the upcoming financial year. This helps employees to take the informed decision that can lead to significant tax savings. Okay, so what we do is that we analyze the data, and we send emails to each and every employee before the window opens, and this is where what we have done in the starting of the financial year. Now, what it does is it contains data for the previous proof submitted. It contains data. Let's obviously we have to put everybody in the new regime basis the year change. So basis that it will contain data, and in case it will have all that information available. Now system will tell us, or system will tell the employer, by default you are getting so much tax savings. If you go new regime, this much tax savings you will have. So obviously, according to that, you can plan your tax accordingly, and proceed. We also share FAQs with the employees, in which a lot of details are mentioned for the employees to consider, and they can go through it. In case they have any questions, they can always come back to us. But this is what has happened. We have reduced the queries in the investment declarations by 50%, and that's not a small number. I can say that, right? So I'll quickly move forward, and I would like to take another poll before, and trust me, this is the last one, and then we'll close our presentation after some slides.
Sure, no problem. I think the audience is also liking the poll. But of course, these are the questions that we have for you. I'm sure you have a lot of questions for us. So
Absolutely.
please don't hold back. Please ask your questions. And in the meantime, you can interact with this poll.
So let me just go through it, or read this. What determines the choice between the old regime and new regimes based on the investment analysis? Employees' preferences only, high investment returns, tax saving potential based on past data, and advice from external consultant.
And to also, motivate other people to participate in the poll, we have gotten a very good feedback from Hiral Dave, who's saying the poll is really good. So thank you, Hiral, for that. And I hope this motivates the rest of us also to interact with these polls and, make the session more interactive. Okay, some 60% of you have already participated, the rest 40. Let's do that. Okay, another 30 seconds, and then we'll end the poll and share the results with all of you.
Well, I can see our audience are very intelligent the way they're answering those queries. Uh, yeah, so I'm quite anticipating there are a lot of good questions in the end of the session.
Definitely, definitely. Let's, have a lot of questions coming in from you, all
Yeah.
of you, in fact. And as Abhishek said, most of you are answering the right answers only. So that's that's great. And I can say that, okay, Abhishek's presentation is also helping and people are able to relate. Okay, so we have the quorum with us for the results. I'll quickly end the poll and share the results.
Wow, absolutely. So, well, again, the poll is speaking tax saving potential based on the past data. Of course, that is very important. Okay, let me take one more minute of yours and then I'll move to the next slide. We have to consider that whatsoever the person has declared in the last year, basis and also the proof they have submitted, because that will help us, that will make our base to move ahead and give the advice to the clients that what should be done in the current financial year. Maybe they want to go to the new regime, or they want to change and go back to the old regime with bit more investments so that they can save much more on taxes. So let's talk about it in the next slide.
Sure. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating in the poll. And yes, over to you, Abhishek.
Yeah. So, as I was speaking about it, analyzing salary increments for tax planning. See, folks, we just spoke about the previous year's data. We also have to consider the aspects where the salary increments are happening for the employees, right? Yes, every employee does not might not get an increment. Uh, However, we have to consider what is the market trend, or basis the company for the last year, how much increments they have given, and we can have a, let's say, a common ground, and accordingly we can say that in case there is an increment in the salary of the employee, what could be what additional investment the person has to do. So these analysis will also help. Now, when what I'm telling you is, what we do is we send the emails to our employees with three options. We tell them that this is the proof what you submitted in the last year. By default, you are in a new regime. This is the tax what you will be having as per the new regime. And in case your salary increment happens, maybe let's say by 5%, this is the additional declarations if you will do maybe in the old regime, that will help you. And if you are able to, let's say, save so much that it will also result in having less taxes. So this is the way we are working with our clients. Obviously, this how simple this looks, this is very complex in nature. That's why the tools come handy to help us out and make our life easy. We also have to consider the fact, let's say there's increment happening, but it is also resulting in the slab change of the employee. Let's say the employee was earlier in 10% slab, now they have jumped to a 20% slab. What additional benefits or what additional savings the person has to do so that the tax can be reduced? We have to be smart enough in our analysis, which we are sharing with the clients so that they can take an informed decision. I'm always saying about it and I'm saying it again. This is something which we have to do. I'll quickly move to the next slide, which is your VPF and NPS effective investment choices. See, we what we have, what I've seen with my clients as well, there are many of them who still are not considering VPF or NPS as an option to be given to the employees. What we do as a payroll provider is we give these advices to the our clients that they should be opting for VPF and NPS. This will really help the employees to save on taxes. Now, as I told about a FAQ which I shared with the clients or with the employees, in that, I not only mention about the savings of NPS and VPF in the current year, which will help them save taxes, but what is the implication of that if they keep on doing that year on year? How much exponentially the amount will increase by the time they retire or by the time they want to, let's say, withdraw some amount. So that helps them to give them a vision that if they do it, it's not only for the current year, it also helps them to save for the future. And that's how they are able to plan much better and have a better understanding on and the way they are planning their taxes is has changed to a large extent. The next one which I would like to talk about are IT strategies, tax strategies for high income employees. Well, this is something which we have to address, and this is I think the elephant in the room. The reason is because the taxes change, or the as the slab changes, there are many people who for whom the surcharge will now be applicable. Now we have to advise people, even though they have a surcharge or they are about to get into that surcharge bracket, that what can they do to save their taxes. These are the people who are majorly the decision makers, right? Or they hold a position in the company. Now, these are the people who make who have that impact in the company. So if we are able to help them out in saving taxes, it makes a lot of sense, and it helps everyone, even the employees, even the client. So that's something which I would give you as a thought, and you should look into it, that how you can navigate and explain or help your high valued employees in saving more taxes. The next is empowering employee with tax education. I cannot emphasize enough that how important it is. See, we have to educate our employees on the importance of saving taxes. How we can do is by giving different trainings to the employees, right? The training can be basic in nature. When I say basic, you just telling the employees that this is ATC, these are different sections, and you have to invest so much values in each section. That's one way of doing it. Then there's advance, where we what we do is we deep dive into each section. We tell the employees that if you save in this way section, this is how it's going to impact and this is going to help you. Okay. In each and every section, obviously the other parameters will come into play, which I would like to speak about. That is, let's say the person is married or not. We have the data with us, right, for payroll purposes. Why don't we analyze that data and give the relevant advice to the employees? So that's where I'm coming from, that the employee, if it's a married employee, if they have a girl child, all these parameters are important for tax planning. So you can tell the employees, if you save in those things, it will be much better for you, and it will give you much more tax benefits. Well, uh, this very slide is I would like to talk about is ensuring accuracy in investment declarations. See, we all want that investments, whatsoever are submitted, are accurate in nature. How can be done is, when we educate the employee, and employee takes the informed decision, they will not gonna change the investments again and again. That's one, right? See, actual pardon, accurate investment declarations are crucial for maintaining the maximum tax benefit and ensuring the compliances, right? Inaccurate or delays can lead to missed deductions, increased tax liabilities, and potential penalties. So we have to make sure that we are compliant. We make sure that we are doing everything as we should, and accordingly moving ahead. Things which I've just spoken about, please keep all that in mind, and accordingly we will be able to help our clients and their respective employees to have a better understanding on the IT declarations, and how we can help them out, or by going extra mile. Last but not the least, see, this is summary of these slides, all the slides what we have covered today. So we have covered the importance of streamlining IT declaration process, the role of automation, the necessity of customizable solutions, compliance adherence, and the significance of accurate and timely submissions. So we have to understand from this perspective that this is something which really impacts the declarations what the employees are doing, right? We also should not forget the importance of AI and machine learning. Obviously, the tools what we are using is the base, but we also have to use the AI and other mechanisms to help us in getting the better results. And this is something which I really recommend everyone to do. On that note, Raki, thank you so much. I'll open the stage, and please take it forward from here.
Sure. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for that. That was a very insightful and knowledgeable session with a lot of interaction with our audience. So thank you so much. You brought in your expertise, and that was clearly, through the presentation. So thank you so much for sharing all the insights that you have. Now, before moving to the audience Q&A, as told everybody in the beginning, we will have a special presentation on how you can streamline your IT declaration through greytHR. So I have with me Avinash S, Associate Product Manager, greytHR, who will take us through that process. So Abhishek, I would request you to stop sharing your
So,
screen, and Avinash, you can take it from there. Okay. Abhishek, your screen is still visible.
my bad. Give me 1 second, please.
Sure, no problem. Okay. Yes, over to you, Avinash. And of course, we
You can
have the
confirm.
audience.
Yeah.
Yes, just a moment before we do that. We have the audience Q&A session planned as well. So please stick with us towards the very end, and we'll take all your queries. Thank you so much. Over to you, Avinash.
Yeah. Raki, if you can just confirm if my screen is visible.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Abhishek, for the wonderful presentation. Okay, so now that we have understood the importance of the streamlined ID declaration process, so let's see how greytHR can help you to achieve this in 3 simple and easy to understandable steps, right? Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So as I was saying, so in greytHR, right, you can achieve this ID declaration process in a simplified way. So basically, it has 3 steps to it. So in the first step, you'll be releasing the ID declaration form to the employees, and I will ask the employees to submit their declaration. And in step 3, you will lock and consider the ID declaration which has been submitted by the employees. So I would like to inform you all that this entire steps can be completely automated, right? So at the beginning of the month, right? So at the beginning of the month, so admin can go and he can select the employees and he can do ID declaration release for selected employees or all employees depending on his particular use case. So let's say so there is an increment which has happened in the month of May. Now you want the employees to submit the declarations again, right? In this case, you can select all and you can release the declaration for the employees, right? So like this, you'll be able to see the list of employees, so wherein you can do a release all or you can do a release for a selected employees, right? So as I was also saying, uh, can I do this ID declaration release in an automated way, right? So the answer is yes. So whenever you're creating the new payroll month in the application, right? So basically you will have 2 options. One is release the ID declaration automatically for all the employees, and also you can set a date and you can also auto lock it. So by this, you don't have to follow up with the employees. So application itself will auto lock the declaration for you. Okay, so you can choose on what date it has to get auto locked also. Okay, so now on the employee side, so let's say now admin has already released the IT declaration for the employees. Now from the employee side, he can start declaring his investments, right? So as you already know, we have Chapter 6A, we have ATD, we have income from house property, we have ATC, all these sections. So employee can choose specific sections and he can update the declaration. So once he submits the declaration, so he'll be able to compare whichever the regime is beneficial for him. So depending on the salary bracket, so we'll come to know whether that employee can opt for new regime or the old regime. So based on his salary and the tax bracket that he comes into, so application will automatically give you a comparison of new and the old regimes. So whichever is beneficial, so he can opt for that. So in the example given, new regime is beneficial for this employee, so he can go for that. And also he will have a flexibility to choose the tax regime, so only once in a year that he can do that. So that again, that configuration will be handled from the backend. So he can choose the appropriate regime and he can actually submit the declarations, right? So once it is done, he'll be able to, I mean, if the window is open, if he wants to withdraw or revise a few, or if he wants to make any changes, so that he can do it. And also he'll be able to download the form 12bb once the ID declaration is submitted, right? And also it is in the ESS, so on the employee side, right? So basically he'll be allowed to create multiple plans and he can compare, right? So if I invest let's say 1.5 lakhs under ATC, so what would be my tax liability if I go with 1.5 lakhs of ATC along with house rent? So how much tax I can save? So basically he can plan his investments according to his salary, and then he can see whichever is the plan that which is best suitable for him, and then he can pick that plan and he can submit it accordingly, right? So once it is done, so he'll be able to see the IT statement, so wherein the tax liability for the entire year will be shown like this. Okay, so now so we have completed step 1 and step 2. So now all that is left for the admin to do is just consider the declaration and process the payroll. So from the admin side, he has to consider whosoever has submitted declarations in that month, and he can process the payroll. Yeah. So with this, we have reached the end of the presentation. Over to you, Raki.
Thank you so much, Avinash, for that profound presentation. Really helped it. Now, as promised, we are going to open the floor for audience Q&A. We have with us two experts today, Abhishek and Avinash. So, any questions that you have, you can start asking those. And whoever is raising their hand, they can just put in their question in the Q&A option, which is there, and we'll take that up from there. Also, if your question is specific to greytHR, you can address it to Avinash, or you can just add specific to greytHR, so we can take it like that. Okay, I think the first question is for you, Abhishek. When you were talking about analyzing past years' investments data, can you? Okay, so the question is from Hiral Dave. You have mentioned by analyzing past years' investments data, then suggest them for regime to select. How it will be possible for higher strength of the company? Please explain with the tools which are supportive and helpful.
Well, Hiral, thank you so much for asking this question. And I was actually looking forward for this question. Okay, I can proudly talk about it because I have implemented something of that sort. See, of course, there are tools available, or we have to customize these tools. Okay, first of all, what I have done when I started this whole process is I used some macros and the Excel to support me. So what we have done is we sent the emails to the employees with all that data. Obviously, it's a huge data. We have to take permissions from or our clients as well, that should we do that kind of a thing or not. Once we get a green flag, only then we have done it. What I can tell you is I have done it for clients or up to 2,000 headcount and didn't face any challenges in doing it. Of course, it took time because of the huge chunk of emails which are going from our mailbox. One thing which you have to be, if you want to do this, you have to be considerate enough that you tell your client that these many emails are coming to your mailboxes. Please do not treat them as spam. I've learned the hard way, and that's why I'm telling you, you should do in this way. Hope that answers your question.
Sure, I am sure it does. If you have any more questions or want to have a detailed conversation, any one of you, as we do with all the webinars, we will be sharing Mr. Abhishek's email ID with all of you in our thank you mailer, along with the webinar recording. So you can always connect and, forge those discussions there. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is from an anonymous attendee. Do you recommend to talk to individual employees regarding regime selection post increments?
Well, I think I have answered that to extent in the last answer what I've given. See, we don't do that, right? What I'm doing is I've even before the increments is happening. Let's say we have to open them in month of first April. Increments might come to us a bit later. Uh, Usually the cycles are, let's say, from Jan to December of increments, or from like till in March. However, the applicability in some scenarios will, and most of the scenarios will be from April onwards, which means the data will come to us by the end of the month. Now, we cannot wait for that, right? What we do is, in those scenarios, we are anticipating that there might be an increment of 5% deviation here and there, and accordingly, we'll recommend and we'll mention over there this is not the actual figure, but a projected figure. If this happens, this much tax you will have, and accordingly, you have to perform your declarations. So we provide those recommendations to them. We're not enforcing anything to them. We're just enabling them to take the informed decision.
Sure.
Hope that answers.
Sure. There's a follow-up question to this. I'll just read it out. Do you recommend to release the POI after increment if increment is done during the financial year end and not in the beginning of the year?
Uh, to an extent, yes. So what we do is, see, we do in the start of the year as well. Obviously, we have to know the cycle of the increments the company has. If we don't have it, then we cannot take the step. We can only take the past data and accordingly analyze it. But if we know these things, what we do is, obviously we have to open the investment proof window as well, right? In the month of maybe January or February. Prior to that, let's say the increment cycle is from Jan to December, and in January we have to open the window. What we'll do is we'll open the window for them, we do that analysis, and we'll tell them that obviously the year is past, but this much you can invest more to have that effect. Usually that this works very beautifully for the people for the starting of the year. but not that great in the last end of the year, because obviously they have done all the investments already. They can only do so much. So yeah, I hope that is okay. That we can take that as an okay answer. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Abhishek. Also, in the meantime, I see a lot of questions which are related to great HR are also being answered by Avinash in the chat itself. So whoever has any questions, specific to great HR, you can get it answered. In the meantime, there's another question from Hiral. What are the mitigations for managing surcharges?
Right. So Hiral, I can say this, that only the IT declaration specifically will might not be able to support it. The compensation structuring what the organization has also plays a very important role in this. So as a Protiviti, we also do comp structuring for the clients. In those areas, we are able to help the clients better. We can structure their compensations to a large extent based the grade and other aspects, based the client requirements, and accordingly, by doing this and by including reimbursements and other factors, we are able to help to mitigate these challenges.
Sure. Thank you so much for that answer, Abhishek. Moving on, I hope that answers the question for you, Ahiral. Moving on to the next question. Okay, so there's a question from Nivedita. If total taxable income is more than 50 lakhs, which tax regime should we need to opt? Any suggestions?
Well, that's a very good question, and this has come to me a lot of times from a lot of clients. What as if you ask me as a blanket, I'll say the new regime, because then that scenario you don't have much which you can save for, because obviously your PF will be doing a lot of things for you. So ATC is by default covered, and most of things are covered. What in those scenarios I recommend to the employer to go on a new regime until unless I see the data what is available with me. That's the answer what I can give you.
Okay, thank you so much, Abhishek, for that. Rupa, your question is answered by Avinash, so I hope you have taken a note of that. Moving on to the next question from Sudha Sri Kumar,
It's on
somewhat like a follow-up
yeah.
question. Yeah. How can we save surcharge on income tax?
So again, Sudha, I'll highly recommend if you have any clients and if you can look at the compensation of the client, I think that then you will have a better picture, and you can recommend in case you want to perform any changes in the structures of the clients. I'm not sure if you are doing it for your clients, but that's something what we do, and that's value add what we give to our clients, and accordingly they can save on their taxes. Obviously this cannot work for like one, as you rightly mentioned, Raki, one suit cannot fit all, right? This is something which we have to look at the client, the structure and the other aspects, and then only can recommend to the clients.
Sure. Thank you for that, Abhishek. I think Asit had also the same question, sort of, and you have answered this. If you want a more detailed conversation, a more detailed advice, I suggest you can connect with Abhishek offline as well, and he'll be happy to help you. So there's one question which is from Raman. For a new joiner where there is no past year data for proofs or declaration, in that case, how would you suggest choosing the tax regime, new or old?
Ah, okay. So okay, let's take example. I hope we have a couple of minutes, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
let's take example. See, the new joiner is coming in the mid of the year or the starting of the year. Let's say the person is coming in the mid of the year. Then we will also have to incorporate the previous employment income, what the person has, right? In that, the regime the person might have already chosen. A person cannot change a regime within the financial year. If they have to change it, they can only do it while filing the returns. So we already know what regime the person is in, and accordingly, we have to accept that regime only and move ahead. We cannot give option to employees to change it. If they want, we can suggest them that this is something what you have chosen. Ideally, this is something which would be more beneficial for you. You can do it while you're filing the returns.
Okay. Sure. I hope that answers the question for you. Moving on to the next question from Apur, Apurupa Yadavali. The question is, can we pay salary to employee without deducting surcharge by just deducting tax on his request? He's already crossed the surcharge limit.
Ideally, the answer is no. Ideally, we should not do it. I'm not sure in what scenario you are asking this question. What we can do is we can have a detailed discussion on it maybe later.
Sure.
And if you can explain to me, that will be of great help, and we can talk about it, and I might be able to help you better.
Sure. So as promised, we will share the email ID of Abhishek latest by early next week, along with this webinar recording. So you can connect with him separately. Also, there was another question from Rupa. I think Avinash has already answered. It's related to greytHR. So we have covered all the questions that we have. There are no more questions pending. But if you don't have any questions at the moment, but you want to, you might get another question while you watch this webinar. So you can always connect with us. We'll share the dedicated resources with you. But before that, let me quickly launch one last poll just to understand your feedback for this session today. So to all of you who are present there in the session right now, I would urge you all to participate in this poll and share your feedback with us. You just have to choose the answer, and this would really help us make more changes if required based on your feedback to make these sessions more interactive, more informative. And thank you so much once again, all of you, for joining us. This was a great discussion today. And we look forward to having more such sessions with you. In the meantime, I would request Sarumati to please share the screen so that I can share the resources details with our audience.
Okay, give me just 1 minute. I'm just sharing.
Sure. So we have a Grey Tribe community where, as you can see on the screen, we have a Grey Tribe community. It's a knowledge sharing platform where we have experts, industry leaders who can guide you through your queries. So you can just put your question there and we will be happy to help you with the responses on those. Apart from this, as promised, we will share the recording and the credentials of Abhishek as well. So you can connect with him directly. Apart from this, we also have our WhatsApp channel. We are also available on WhatsApp. So if you have any questions related to our sessions, related to our product, you want to connect with the support team, any questions that you have related to greytHR, you can just scan the QR code right now. And, we will be able to get back to you on WhatsApp as well. And yes, apart from this, any more questions you have, you can always write to me on the email ID, which is there on the screen. This is rakhigotham@greytip.com, and I will, connect with you. Also, as promised, we'll share the recording with, of this session with you very soon. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Special thanks to Abhishek and Avinash for, those insightful presentations and taking out the time for the session today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Raki, I think there was one last question. If it's fine, can I answer that?
Yes, definitely. See, this is the zeal that we have at greytHR. If you have a question, we'll definitely, be sharing insights on that. Yeah. So I think the question is from Alhad. While approving IT declarations, what are guidelines for admin? So yes, Avinash, you can answer.
To answer your question, see, since it is IT declaration, right? So basically, admin can just consider and he can process the payroll. But however, there are certain sections like 80 and 80G, right? There are no limits to it. But some employees, they may try to take advantage by declaring, some random amount. So in those cases, you will have to, give strict instructions that if you fail to give the relevant proofs during the POI cycle, so it will be a problem. So they'll have to pay excess taxes at their end. So these are some of the guidelines, what I would say. So there are certain sections like so on top of my head, which I can remember is 80E, 80G, and few like that, right? So you'll have to be careful about those sections. But apart from that, if it is just ATC and house rent and all, so basically you can go ahead and you can approve and you can consider it for income tax computations. And during the PO, you can cross verify the proofs and accordingly you can grant exemptions to those sections. Hope I have answered your question.
Sure. Thank you so much, Avinash. I'm sure that helps. And apart from this, if you have any questions, you can again connect with us. And Alhad says, thanks, Avinash. So I'm sure that answers the question. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody. Once again, thank you, Abhishek, Avinash, and all your audience here today who joined us. And let's see you at the next session very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.